Hey, this is Lola, but you can call me Lola if you like.
Hi, this is Velisa, and you can call me Vels if you want. And this is the Everybody Hates HR podcast, episode 114. Woo!
Woo, woo, woo. How are you?
114. I am very tired. I landed from New York this morning, so I'm very tired. But while I was in New York, I'm like, every time I go to New York, I'm like, I know I was supposed to be born here. I wasn't supposed to be born in London.
That bad vibes place in America.
Yeah. I was supposed to be born there. I wasn't supposed to be born in London. Like, I love that place. I was very overstimulated by the noise, but
You eat a lot.
do you know what? The thing is with American food, after one meal, I'm done for the whole day. So I had to like force myself to try some of my TikTok recommendations. Otherwise, I wouldn't have eaten anything. That Magnolia Bakery, yeah.
What did you get?
I got one carrot cake pudding and one banana pudding. And actually, as I was queuing, this guy in front of me, he works for Adobe, and
Why do you know where he works?
So he was like, hi. I was like, hey. He was like, hey. You know, you're from out of town, blah blah. So he was like, where you from? And I was like, London, blah blah. And he was like, oh, I'm just getting some cupcakes for my wife. She's at home with our new baby. We live out of state, but she loves Magnolia Bakery. And so yeah, we were just talking, and then when he got to pay for his order, he was like, oh, I'm gonna pay for that one too. That's
happened to me so much. Every time I go to the US,
it's when you're good vibes.
Well, I think it's the accent. I don't know. It happens to me so much. Like, oh, I'll pay for that person.
People say New Yorkers are not good vibes. I was like, oh, thanks, Greg. Big up, Greg.
This is the privilege that the actors are talking about. That's why they don't like us around.
It's true. So yeah, my puddings were free, and I enjoyed the carrot cake one more than the banana. Is not for me in a dessert, but that's the one that everyone goes to.
Banana cake is my favorite cake.
Is it? No, but that's the one that everyone goes to Magnolia Bakery for, is the banana pudding, but it's not for me.
Glad you had a good time.
Yeah, and obviously work. Yeah, I was there for work.
Yeah.
yeah. But it was cool. It was nice to see my manager.
When did we last record? Like, when I've been away.
A month ago. You've been away. You've been everywhere back.
When
Minister of Enjoyment. Intercontinental. Monumental.
No, where did I go? I went to Ghana and I went to Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came back, actually. And I'm going away again as well. I'm going back to
Dubai.
And you're going to Dubai.
I'm going to Dubai. We might bump into each other.
I had a fantastic time. One of my friends is getting married, and then in Ghana. So that was my first time in Ghana, in Accra. Great vibes. Just had an amazing time. And then I went to Nigeria, saw friends, saw family. Like, it's just lovely. Like, do you know what? I fell in love with a piece of art. So my friend, Emmanuel Imani, which is also now in Geek Girl, which has just been renewed for season 2. Wheel of Time, all this stuff. Black Earth Rising. Anyway, he was on the pod. He lives in Nigeria now. Well, part-time.
Oh, Tossy.
Yeah, part-time. So I went to his house, and there was a piece of art on the wall by an artist called Ada God's Power. And literally, it struck me so much. Like, when I saw it, I was just like, I need this. I tried to get his one. It was huge, by the way. And he was just like, no, I'm not giving you the art for my house. You know, selfish, but whatever. So then we went basically trawling through the art markets, trying to find. And there's basically, I know this artist's work now. Like, if I see,
you'll know.
I thought it was a woman that made it. When I painted it, when it was painted, I just looked at it and I just thought, oh, women did this because it's amazing. But it's not. And so I was trying to get like a piece commissioned, but it's just really hard to get hold of the artists. And if you buy them here, they're so expensive.
Oh, really?
Like literally £4,000, which obviously is not like that in Nigeria. So yeah, I've just come back and been obsessed. So I'm trying to find, like, I just need a piece. Like, I'm not someone, like, I don't look at art and think, oh my God, but literally I was so struck by it. It was so amazing. And I was just like, I just need this. So now I'm on a bit of a mission to find it. Something by the artist that fits in my living room, which is now basically back to normal. Woo! I haven't got my sofa yet, but I've got my temporary sofa. I went to British Heart Foundation. I just got one because I need to sit in my living room. I've got my new TV, got my PS5. So I'm like, I'm good to go now. Yeah, but that's my life update. And also, shout out to all the people that have been messaging me saying that I look so fantastic. God bless you. God bless you. Obviously, I'm trying. I've been fairly consistent. Even when I went to Ghana and I was in Nigeria, I was like working out every day. I played tennis with my friend.
I love that for you.
30-something degree heat, and I literally almost passed out. But I've been like so consistent, eating reasonably well, just getting buff every day.
I love that for you. America tried to take me down with the food. I don't even want to know.
I was looking at your story thinking Velisa.
I know. I don't want to know how many calories was in half the stuff I ate. That pudding. And when I got there, they said there's no more smalls, only medium. And I was like, medium's going to be too big for me. I finished that pudding.
Anyway, when you're there, you just have to suck it up and just
no regrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the update. HR. In fact, we're even short on time, please. Talking.
HR. Oh, do you know what? You had sent me something, but I had already seen it, because people do that all the time, where like, and you have to decide if you're gonna act like you haven't seen it or if you have.
No, but the worst ones are the ones that you send me on TikTok, because I don't read my TikTok.
Yeah, you send me the same
thing. Send it back to you.
Like, so annoying. But anyway, you sent me one about a young Muslim girl that has done over 2,000 job applications.
Oh yeah, I was thinking.
And she has been looking for a job since January 2024, and she said there was even one where she was basically successful, but there was no role for her, and there's still no role in that place for her to take on a job. And I feel like we've spoken about the job market like in different ways, but I know you have some like actual facts today as well on it. But I just think the job market is so bad, and I think it's particularly bad for the population of people that are just entering the workplace, so entry level jobs, but also that like mid-level, so junior to like mid-level is also, it's difficult because it's such a saturated level. Like there's so many people at that level, or they're just one below and now they're looking for their next step, so they're also applying for the same role. And it's like, how do you differentiate yourself in this small job market? Because that's what it is. It's a small job market. It is an employer's job market. It's not an employee's job market. Like, how do you make yourself stand out? And I was having this conversation with my friend, and I was like, I feel like right now, if you can't get a referral,
I don't even know the answer, by the way. Like, how do you stand out? I don't know.
Yeah,
I really don't know.
It's tough.
You need to really be hustling. Like, I think referrals are the best way.
I think so too.
And all of that stuff with like message the hiring manager, it'll just get lost in the noise now. Like,
everyone's doing it.
Also, I used to post jobs and put my face on it. Like, who's recruiting for this role? I had to stop doing that because I was so inundated with just requests to be like, oh, and LinkedIn does this thing where it will craft the email for you, and what it doesn't, I hate that, because it's so obvious that LinkedIn did it, because you get basically 5 emails which are the same. It's like, hi, I've seen your job vacancy, and I think my experience in insert current role was great, especially with my experience and my knowledge of insert what I studied. But it's really weird, like, and it does it with AI, and people send it out, and I just feel it's very lazy. So it actually, I think it puts you more at a detriment than it doesn't. Like, I mean, more of a detriment than helping you.
Agreed.
So all of that messy in the hiring manager stuff, like, I'm not saying don't do it, but you gotta have something interesting to say, something important to say. Like, don't be gimmicky. Like, if you know that, you send them your CV directly or do something, but not all of this like standard LinkedIn message. Like, it's really, I find it quite off-putting.
Yeah, I agree. But at the same time, I know we dragged LinkedIn in like one of the last episodes, but at the same time, I do think LinkedIn is a good way to get yourself out there and in front of people, but not in like the cringe way of, oh, desperate ring, but like just saying things, just posting about things that you're aware of. Like I didn't even tell you actually. So one of the listeners of the pod, by the way, this doesn't mean that it's going to happen all the time, but one of the listeners of the pod DM'd me on LinkedIn, and she was like, she wants to meet up. So I was like, where do you work? And she works in the same area as me. So I was like, oh, just come into my office because I can have guests. And we had like quite a long conversation, and she wants to move. She wants another job in HR and leave where she is. And I was saying to her, do you use LinkedIn? And she was like, no.
How How could you be listener of the pod?
But then I was like, how you see what you've done with me? How you've literally DM'd me and you've now picked my brain on LinkedIn.
Okay.
You've DM'd me on LinkedIn.
She's just not active.
Yeah, she doesn't act. Okay. She's not active. You DM'd me. You picked my brain. You got something out of it, and you can do more of that, like with LinkedIn.
I can't believe you did that. That's very me coded. I've had to stop doing stuff like that. But
that's why I said it's not something that's the. I was just in one of them moods. You know when you catch someone in a good place.
That's why you have to shoot your shot, man. Don't shoot, you don't score.
Yeah. I was like, there's actually another one I need to reply to, but yeah, like. Be active. Show that you're aware of the economic climate that we're in.
You're saying about stats. So what the ONS have said is that job vacancies are now down to pre-pandemic levels. Because obviously, in the pandemic, job vacancies fell during the pandemic. Then after the pandemic, like towards the end, like of 2020, then they went up. Crazy.
Yeah, it was sweet.
That's when it was sweet. But if it's down to pre-pandemic levels, then it's pretty low. And it says here the number of jobs on offer fell to 781,000, which is not helpful without context. And the number of people who were on the payroll dropped by 78,000. So there's 78,000 less people on payroll, therefore I guess employed this quarter than there was in the month of March than there was in the month of February. And so I think that's probably just more about the redundancies and stuff happening. They did say that the average wage went up by 5.9%, but they were basically saying that's probably people preparing. That was in March. Probably people preparing for the national minimum wage increase. Yeah, but yeah, there's literally less jobs than there were on there. There's less jobs now than there have been since 2019, which is insane.
So again, if you're looking for a job and it feels like I'm not getting anywhere, I feel defeated. It's not you necessarily. It's not you. The job market is just not. And
I really think that you need to, like, I'm not a person that everyone needs to work for themselves, but listen, if I was ever going to start a business again,
it'll be now.
Yeah, like if you're looking for a job and you can, like that lady or that girl who was been looking for a job since January 2024, like even if it's to find something to do for yourself, like you have to, not that you have to, but yeah, I think you have nothing to lose. You haven't got a job. If I didn't have a job now, I would definitely be looking to start some sort of business.
Yeah, they say well, this is a recession, right? They said this. They say like the best innovation happens when there's a recession. So things like Uber, Deliveroo, they were all things that happened during a recession, like were invented during a recession.
That reminds me of something else I wanted to talk to you. It's not on our list of things, but there's a guy on TikTok who fits blinds and curtains. Did I send this to you?
No.
Anyway, there's a guy on TikTok.
Is he in London?
I think so. But he fits blinds and curtains. And he was responding to another creator who had basically said that, if you're going to start a business in 2025, it needs to be something that basically your friends don't rate. Stop trying to start businesses that are maybe businesses that you would use or businesses that you look up to, because he said those are the places where it's oversaturated, which is why you see a lot of people starting clothing lines or makeup brands or all of these sorts of things. And he was basically sometimes you just need to go and find something that's really niche or something that not everybody's doing. So he was basically saying when he started, he isn't a typical, more ordinary guy, right? And he said when he started posting pictures of him putting curtains and blinds up and stuff, his friends were like, "What are you doing?" When he was starting his little business, and he's now he's put, he was saying he's done some. I think he put some blinds up for Harry Kane, and he was doing the Ghana embassy and stuff, which I went to, and I didn't notice the blinds particularly, but I didn't notice that they were bad. So yeah, he was just talking about all of that stuff, and I think it's really interesting because whenever people approach me about starting a business, sometimes they have a business in mind, but sometimes it's really weird. Even on LinkedIn or family members or friends or I don't know, they're like, "I want to start a business." And I'm like, "What business do you want to start?" And they're like, "They don't know." I'm like, when you're not at the place where you should be talking to anybody. Not about the business, but have some sort of idea. But I think sometimes when a lot of people want to start businesses, but trying to figure out what to do, it's very easy to just. That's why we have so many Instagram hairstylists, because they look at it, they're like, "Okay, it obviously works as a customer base there, and it's very easy to kind of get started." But sometimes I think the people who are going to be most successful will run businesses that are more niche. So I think people should be willing to think, okay,
outside the box,
and not just this is something that I use, because actually you might start a business which is not something that you use, or not something that you use regularly. So the blinds and curtains thing, like, it's not particularly sexy. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what it's like? So while I was in New York, obviously meetings were like very long, and they had like fidget toys outside the door, and like I was just watching people. I was like, wow, there was quite a few people who took these fidget toys, and I'm like, in my head I was thinking, wow, there's somebody out there making a lot of money from grown adults just not being able to keep still. Literally. Yeah.
There's I saw a guy who has a keyboard cleaning service or something.
Look at that.
Listen, some people, not saying me, definitely me, be eating at their keyboard. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and I think you can put it in.
My keyboard used to be bad.
I don't know if you send it off or whatever, but it comes around and just does it. But keyboard cleaning service, that is ridiculous. But, you know, it could work.
Someone wants their keyboard cleaned properly.
Yeah, there's just lots of different things. I think
even you know about the guy. He started off as a one-man band, and now he's grown into a team that would queue for exclusive things for people. So you'd say the latest iPhone came out, you don't want to wake up at 4 a.m. to go and queue. He would go and queue for you and buy it for you, or get the latest trainers and stuff like that. The thing is,
I don't think I could run that business, because I like to respect my customers. And I don't respect people that do that. I just think, shut up, man. Just wait. If it's exclusive and it's got to, like, if you're a proper trainer head, maybe, and there's like an exclusive drop and there's only 50 pairs, I kind of get it. But people who queue for an iPhone, I'm like, shut up. We're all going to get it. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm sounding so judgy.
You're strict.
I'm not strict, but come on, man. It's not, you're not getting anything extra. If you're getting something that, you know, if it's going to run out, I get queuing if it's going to run out. What was it that people were queuing for? There was some Korean skincare brand opening. Was it in Westfield? There was some Korean skincare brand, and they said that the first 50 people or something, they gave them like purple wristbands. You'll get a special gift bag, and then people after that, next 20 or next 100 people would get a smaller gift bag. And after that was running out, so people were there. Was it Westfield? Anyway, people were there queuing. They were camping, and I just can't accept it. Like, what's the gift bag worth? If we're doing Molly May style £8,000 giveaway,
that's different.
Even one that I might be able to queue, but queuing to get a couple of sachets of and some
free samples
and some pimple patches, like, get a job. Anyway, unemployment is high. There's not enough vacancies. Maybe that's what people are doing with their spare time. But
yeah, this guy started a whole business.
I know, but the thing is, I'm sure there are people who would want you to queue for them, and that's what I'm saying. It's a great business idea, but personally, I don't want to look at the person who's paying me and think, oh, you're a loser.
I hear that. I wish I thought about something like that when I was younger, like when I would go to concerts and be at the front and do it for free.
What do you mean?
Like, when I was younger, when I went to watch, before he was crazy, I went to watch The Throne, which was the best concert of my life with Jay-Z and Kanye West. I got there at like maybe 9 a.m, and the concert started at 8 p.m.
Why did you get there at 9 a.m?
To be right at the front. I literally rapped with Jay-Z eye to eye. That was London, OT.
You went at 9 a.m?
I rapped with Jay-Z eye to eye. It was worth every penny.
At 9 a.m?
9 a.m.
What did you do? Did you pack snacks?
Yeah. I was in the OT.
You're a loser, man.
I didn't even use the toilet.
So you risk
compromising
your bladder.
I was like 19. My bladder was very, very, very tight.
You know what? Yeah, what I would say is that younger me would be more willing to do stuff like that. Like, even when I used to go to Wireless, I have all these pictures. Like, somebody across them the other day have like Nicki Minaj, Drake, all these people, and I'm like at the front, and I remember there'll be people pushing, there'll be people passing out,
the security me, pulling them out,
and I would be right at the front. I could never do that now.
Yeah, I told my nephew, because he's going to Wireless this year and it's his first time going, and he was like, I'm getting there, I want to be at the front, and I was explaining that the front is I used to be you. You don't want to be there.
But the thing is, it was always when you get to and you touch the barrier at the front, it is an experience. People are now the idea of people pushing, taking so long to get home.
I know.
People passing out around it. There was a girl who had like a seizure.
I know.
And then security tried to pull her out. She said no.
I thought Nicki Minaj Wireless would be my last one, but here we are because of Vybz Kartel.
Are you going?
Because of Vybz Kartel, yeah.
Oh my gosh. And there was another guy. I remember when it was Drake. Was that the same one? I think that might have been the same one. Maybe 2 different days. I went to Wireless 2 different days.
Hyde Park one.
It was in Hyde Park, but
Drake, Nicki Minaj, Example. They were all on.
That was yeah.
I was there too.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. I was at the front.
So I remember there was a day when Drake was on it. There was this girl. She was crying, and we were like, girls was like, are you okay? She was like, I just love Drake. And she was just singing. It was like around, like, it was YOLO. So she was just like singing the lyrics to YOLO. And she would just cry. This is bawling.
Stan culture's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But she was literally like, I just love Drake. I thought she was in distress. But she just loved Drake so much that she was so happy. She was just crying. But anyway, I
hope she's well.
I say that. Start businesses that maybe other people are not that keen to do.
Yeah. Or even like with the skills, this is me trying to tell myself to take my own advice. But if you also have a skill set that you know is valuable, use it. You know you can't get a job in HR right now as a HR admin, but you know you're sick at taking notes. Go and take notes somewhere. Literally sell yourself as that, like doing that.
I have a friend, a very good friend. And so basically I am the person now. I never used to be this person, but as it is at the moment, I have a lot of friends that have very good skills, and I'm always like, start a business. And my friends are just like,
you used to bully me all the time.
Anyway, the Vim is coming back. The Vim is coming back because, like, I know so many people that do amazing things. So basically, one of my friends is a midwife. And obviously, you know that Mama Dinia, Mama's class and stuff. I was like to her, why don't you start a business which is just parenting classes for dads? I'm putting it out there now.
Yeah.
She didn't do it. I said, why don't you start a business which is parenting classes for dads? And she was just like, I prefer women to men.
Fair. Fair.
Most of us do, even men. Yeah. And she was just like, I'd rather support mums. And I was just like, yeah, but it's not really about, like, I am not someone that believes you need to love what you do. Personally, I'm someone who thinks some businesses are there for you to make money. And also, obviously, if you do parenting classes for dads, it's actually indirectly helping mums.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
That's true.
So like teaching, dads how to, feed the baby, how to burp the baby signals, how to even support mum better, like all of these things. I was like, and also men won't even be your audience. Like the people are going to buy your things
for their men.
Yeah, our mums, girlfriends, wives, sisters, co-workers, friends. Like, you're like, oh, someone's having a baby, let's buy him this parenting class. So your customers are actually still going to be
know what, this is a very good idea.
If you're listening, listen,
it's a good idea.
And I bring this up probably on like maybe every once a quarter. I bring it up with my friend.
It's like there's a black woman who she does how to cane row, and she specifically does one for dads on how to cane row hair. And she does it for like mums too who don't know how, but there's a specific class for dads too, so that they learn how to do hair. And she goes through like the hair types and how you do it and how you look after it and stuff. And I'm like, that's actually so good.
But that's what I've been trying to tell my friend, and she's not doing it. And obviously you have to want to do something, I guess, but every time we talk about it, she's like, I think about it, but she doesn't want to do it.
But do you know what?
I'm so annoyed at her.
Also, Lola, like, because even with the pod, without you, like, I'm not doing this. Do you get it? And sometimes I feel like it's easier when you have someone to actually
help.
Yeah, I know you would help, but you're not going to be running it with her. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely help with like some of the marketing. I could help with like some of the. Listen, my dream is just to build loads of different. Like be a
consultant.
I love business. I love.
So help me, Dan.
Please don't piss me off. We discussed it. Don't piss me off on this podcast. Don't piss me off. What do you mean? I'm here.
We'll talk after the podcast.
Something that I've been saying. Don't piss me off. But anyway, like I really feel very strongly about it. Like I love, like not even to make money, but I love the idea of like, like I started a card company.
You did, yeah.
It was all football cards, and obviously like that sounds like it's for men, but they're gifted to men. But the people who bought the cards were like all women. So mums, like it's like, oh, happy birthday, Dad, you're my man of the match. And obviously, most men...
cards, Miss Rachel card you had.
I did have a Miss Rachel card. And most men, right, as women, sometimes we can be very lazy. So it's like, what do men like? Football. So it's like the first thing, like when you're going to buy them a card or a gift, you're like, let me buy them something football related. And they just like, this flew off the virtual shelves, and I couldn't be asked anymore, so then we don't do it. But like, I just like knowing that you can make something. There's a sense of achievement, which is like nothing that I've ever experienced. Sometimes most of the time I work hard in my business than I did when I was an employee, but that whole thing of like, I'm doing something or I've made something, I create something which people are willing to buy is insane.
It's different.
Like that whole feeling is like, like even with the pod, even if we made like £100 from the pod, it's like, oh, wow.
We did it.
Pay us for something that we created. Like it's, and I just think it's a feeling that everybody should get to feel at some point.
I agree. I hope we've inspired you with that.
Listen, if you want to start a business, like now is the time. Please don't start any sort of like heavy cost intensive business. Just start something, calm,
low maintenance. Can do on the side.
I honestly think it's a great time. There's nothing to lose.
It is a great time.
Need a little bit of time.
Yeah. And it's not as hard as you think.
And it can be anything.
Yeah, you can. I remember when I was taking Black and HR more seriously, there was 1 month I said, hey, I made so much money in 1 month from Black and HR, and then I got pregnant and I couldn't be bothered anymore. But
it's coming back.
But I was like, wow, there's actually money to be made out there. Like,
to be honest, that's how we even met.
Yeah. So
it's only through because you was creating the Black and HR stuff that we even came across my radar. But yeah, I just think creating stuff and like being able to like sell it and monetize it and stuff is amazing. Something else, remember I said I was going to talk about Wisdom K.
Oh yes, you did.
There's a creator called Wisdom K. He does fashion content. On TikTok. I think he is on other platforms as well. Mm-hmm. And he basically made a post and he was just like, people keep asking him how much he makes, so he's just going to share. This is out of like left field. He just shared. He basically said like in the last year he made £5 million, and he makes fashion content. Like
£5 million.
Obviously some of it is directly from TikTok, probably not that much. All his collaborations, he made $5 million. Dollars. He's American. $5 million he made. And the thing is, obviously, I'm not saying in the UK that's going to happen because the UK is bad vibes. We don't pay creators in the same way. But it started like a proper conversation, and people, like a lot of other creators, like, how is this guy making that much money from just fashion? But literally anything that you can apply a business brain to, you will make the money. So he obviously is very selective about what he does. He obviously is now started pricing himself like in a way which aligns with his audience. He's obviously built up a following. And then, like a load of creators were just like, just feeling very inspired by it and thinking, okay, like, and he was just sharing because he was like, I don't want anybody to think it's not possible. And he's like, I want everyone to know that it is possible and that you should reach for it. And this is what I've done. And he broke down like where the money comes from. And he also obviously spoke about the thing of being freelance. It takes a long time to get money, deals he signs, all of this stuff. And it was just, I just found it really like amazing. And I was like, we was talking about having TikTok, like when TikTok was going to disappear for the Americans. And he has other platforms as well, but just like people are creating things. I think it's really awesome when like a lot of creators, when they make something or they find a different way to do things, because its content's quite like, it's fashion, but it is quite unique. And you find a different way to do something and people are willing to pay you for it. He's obviously built his own audience, and he was talking about he basically does everything by himself. Like he shoots, he edits everything. Because people are like, you need to pay your bad by people. They're all in the comments. You need to pay your editor more. He's like, sorry,
I am the editor.
I need to pay myself more.
Wow.
And I just found it really amazing. I was like, this guy wears clothes. He just puts outfits together. He talks a bit about fashion, but all of the brands that he does, he's really just putting outfits together, showcasing it, maybe doing something a little bit exciting. And people are paying him millions of dollars to wear clothes.
Imagine. If I was a UK TikToker, I would move to the US. Like if I was Uche, like Uchjen Notori, I would not be... Do you know how much they would be paying her if she was in the US to just say, hey, wear my lip gloss? She'd be getting paid way more. But also to what you're saying on the flip side, you must have seen the stuff with Ahiz.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you don't know who he is, he's like a very well-known TikToker, millions of followers on TikTok, and he basically did a live that went viral because people screen recorded it, and then other influencers like Moyo replied to it.
I love Moyo, by the way.
Me too. Him. He's lovely. And he was basically saying he's not making the same money as some of his peers, and he doesn't understand why brands don't want to work with him, and it just doesn't make sense to him. And a lot of people are like, you need to fire your management.
Yeah.
But also, like, I do think he would be pretty hard to market. I
think, this is why it's like, when we talk about, there's entrepreneurship and there's intrapreneurship, right? Like, I think in whatever you're doing, so like when we talk about entrepreneurship, it's like working within a company and still being kind of entrepreneurial and thinking about things with a business mind.
That's TikTok creators.
Yeah, and I really feel like it's really important to have an entrepreneurial mind. It doesn't matter what you do, because like he's obviously gotten to it. His content doesn't necessarily resonate with me personally, but I don't know if I would. I really don't know how I would work with him, but I'm not a brand. Do you know what I mean? And I just think, as a creator, the best creators, and that's why I really love Moyo, because he's got like Moyo, and he's got his separate channel where he talks about just being a creator, and
he's got the one with his boy as well, yeah.
And he basically speaks about a lot of the business side of it, and I think that's where a lot of creators have like fallen short. Like, how are you not making? How do you have 2.5 or whatever, however million followers he has on TikTok, and you're not making good money?
Yeah.
Like, this is because you don't have a business brain. And I also think, when it comes to like management, it's kind of like having a manager at work. Like, it's great to have management and maybe they can help you, but you also need to know how to do it yourself. And I think in anything, like, you need to know first and foremost how to do it. And if you have someone that's going to help you, fair enough. But I kind of got from that, like, that he maybe was relying a lot on his management, which is fine, and they're there to add value, but it's like, where are the ideas? Like, a lot of creators, or a lot of people that run businesses in general, even a lot of like celebrities, they haven't figured out like how to stop doing the one thing that they're doing and do something else. Like, obviously Rihanna is probably the best example of it. Rihanna was a musician, and obviously she decided, I don't want to sing for money anymore. Why people are still begging for this album that's never coming. She decided, I don't want to sing for money anymore. And that's like what even just as us as employees, and I'm not talking about getting to financial freedom or whatever, but I know for a fact, I don't want to sell my time for money anymore. I don't want to do that. Like, at some point I need to get out of that, because it's exhausting.
It's a rat race.
That's how most of us make our money, right? And it means that if you're tired, if you're sick, like, you can't always rest and stuff like that. But if you have a business brain, you can kind of figure out like how to do some of that stuff. And when I looked at his, I was just like, bro, give me your followers. I'll make it work. So you got millions of followers, and you're not, I'm not saying he's not eating or he's struggling or whatever, but people have 50,000 followers making more money than him.
Yeah, he should be making
That's
more.
insane.
And you don't see him on the brand trips and all of that in the same way.
He doesn't even come on my For You page.
But there was a rumor, I don't know, like, well, not rumor, but like on TikTok, the comments were saying they think it's also because he fell out with Victor Kunda, who is a very, like, another well-known TikToker / model, who is doing very well, and
beautiful man,
very beautiful. And they think because they've fallen out, it's kind of had an impact on how he works with brands and stuff.
Yeah, but Victor's in a complete different lane. Like, Victor's very much about, like, even Moyo, to the extent, like, the aesthetics of them, like, they're very, like, easy to put in adverts and stuff. Like, they're like pretty. But Victor Kunda's very pretty. Their
personalities, they're hilarious, both of them. Yeah,
exactly.
And Victor's just very like attractive as well.
Yeah,
you put that together.
Yeah,
and to be fair, they all like together, like India, Victor, Dami, Uche.
So Mahalia in there the other day.
So did I. I was like, oh, are we leaving the music to?
Mahalia's only 25, you know.
Is she?
I thought she was a bit older than that, but she's only 25.
Oh, she's a baby.
I was like, I got into like a rabbit hole on her TikTok recently, and I really just love Mahalia as well.
Yeah, she's very sweet.
I love Mahalia. I lost where we were going with this, but yeah, entrepreneurialism, like having a business brain, even at work, it's just so good to figure out like how to just problem solve, how to make the most of a situation, like especially working in like smaller organizations, even working in bigger organizations, like how do you do things on a shoestring budget? How do you solve this problem? Like, I just think like business is all about problem solving. So if you have good problem solving skills, like you should be able to figure out how to run a business.
So the girl that I was talking about that came in to see me, she was saying how she wants to leave or she wants to get promoted to at least one up. And I was like, what are you doing? Like to do that? And to be honest, like she wasn't doing much outside of her job role. And I was like, you're not going to get promoted if you're not doing anything out of your job role. And I was like, and she works for quite a small company. So I was like, there must be things that you have seen gaps
especially in a small company.
Exactly. That you can say to your HRD or, you know, your direct manager and say, hey, notice this. I'm going to take it on as a project. And, you know, you figure out who you need to talk to. You go and network. Like, I think she brought up there's no expense policy. So I was like...
No expense policy? Boy, go write one.
So I was like, okay, there's your gap. you know, you need to talk to finance, you know, you need to talk to payroll, you know, you need to talk to your HRD, figure out all the stakeholders that you need to speak to, and like plan what you're doing and execute. And then when it comes to your performance review and all of that, you have something. And even if it's all in vain and you're not promoted,
take it to
like when you go and interview, how colourful is your interview going to be, knowing that you've done all of that stuff?
Yeah, they won't have to lie on your CV.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be so confident.
I saw a video, I didn't even finish watching it. I need to go and find it. It's just a girl who's a woman in HR. She was like, oh, I knew it, like to get my first HR job, I'd have to lie on my CV.
Excuse me?
I haven't even finished watching the video.
You need to send it so I
need to find it and watch it, because I'm like, not you in HR coming and saying that you lied on your CV. I don't get it. But I didn't watch the full video, so maybe there was like a haha moment where it was like, I don't know, but I was like, sis, that's not it.
No, I don't think I've ever felt the need to lie on my CV.
I've definitely I don't want to say stress the truth, but I've definitely maybe overplayed my role in like a
embellish.
Team. Yeah. There's a bit of salt, but I've never
straight up lied.
You know what it is? I can't keep up with it. Because not you asking me about this thing, and you're like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to embarrass myself. What? Like, no. So yeah, I can't. I don't have the spirit to lie. Like, I don't have the mental stamina, and I'll be looking over my shoulder. That's it. That's in life. Like, that's what I think of. That's why I don't lie. Cause it's like I'm not gonna remember. I have too many things to remember, let alone remembering the thing that's like even people that are talking about grandparents passing away, then 2 days later someone's gonna ask you, oh, how's it? A week later, 2 weeks later, how's it? And you're looking at them blankly.
Crazy. It's actually true. It's true.
But we listen, we don't judge.
Yeah. It's like, I saw I think it was a podcast, an Australian podcast randomly, and basically it was these two friends that had become really close while working together, and like after all
they became friends
because they worked together. Okay. Yeah. And then all these years passed, and then one of them finally found out that the son that one of the co-workers had was completely made up. The
co-worker that is one of the two friends.
So imagine we're friends and we met at work and we become very like cool. Like we go out sometimes to eat. We speak all the time at work, and you tell me you've got a son called James.
They're not friends.
You tell me you've got a son called James, yeah. So I'm like, oh yeah, James. You're like James this, James that, because you want to leave work early, or you need excuses. But so you've made up James when you started at this workplace,
and then one day I'm just like, I can't keep doing this to you.
So that one of them leaves. I can't remember which one left, and then they're like, okay.
Now that you don't
James
work here, I can tell you.
James doesn't exist.
I'll block you. That's weird. You're a weird person. Oh my God, I need people to not be weird. That's weird. Do you think I'm going to be like, oh, ha. Okay, I understand.
Yeah, I'm like, you are deranged.
No, but maybe if they work for... No.
If you can keep up that lie...
Unsolicited. No way.
You can kill.
Yeah, literally.
You can kill. You might have hidden a body. I don't know.
That's weird. Do you think... No, that's very strange. And did they continue to be friends?
Yeah.
And they were kikiing about it on the podcast? No, that's weird. Weird behaviour.
I wish I could.
Okay, number one, that's a crazy lie to make. And then even if you're going to make that lie, at the point where you become friends, you need to let me into the lie. Then at least...
Yeah, let me know.
In fact, that's even better, because I can be like, I'm going to meet Velisa on the weekend where, we're going
to go with James.
Do you understand? Do you understand? And now you're in on it. So even though you're lying, we're lying together. We're lying as friends.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, and you can be like, oh yeah, me, and James, we went out together. Like, now it's normal. A whole son, that's crazy. That is crazy. I think we're out of time. Anyway, next episode will be, I don't know, we'll have more HR content?
Yes, we will. Maybe.
As always. Like, comment, subscribe. Numbers are up.
Yes, very well.
That's it.
That's a wrap, guys.
Bye.